Hello dear student, today we will discuss our next topic, that is inflation, factors of inflation, Phillips curve and natural rate of unemployment. So let's start. What is inflation? As we know, inflation is something when the prices of the goods and services goes on increase. So we can say continuously sustained and consistently, or you can say persistently, increase in the price level of goods and services is called inflation. When there is a situation of inflation in the economy, when prices are very high, purchasing power of money will decrease. So we can see whenever the prices of the goods and services goes on continuously increase, sustain increase, consistently increase is called inflation. Got it? And then in that case, what happens? Purchasing power of money will decrease. You can say the value of money will decrease. So here we have two main factors which may cause the inflation. These two factors play a very important role in inflation. So first one is demand factor, or you can say demand side factor. So demand side factor is also known as demand pull inflation. So second one is, that is supply side inflation, and it is also known as cost push inflation. So let's start. What do we mean by demand side factor, or you can say demand pull inflation? So what happens in an economy? Demand is continuously increased, what our supply is remain constant, because as we know our resources are limited. So demand is continuously increased and supply is constant. As we know what happened, this is the situation of equilibrium in an economy. Demand and supply is in equilibrium. What happened here? Demand goes on increase. What supply is? Supply is constant. So our demand curve is shift upward in direction. And when the demand goes on increase and supply is limited, then what will happen? Then automatically the prices of the goods and services in that economy will increase. And when prices increase, ultimately that will result as inflation in the economy. So this is the main cause of inflation from demand side. So we will understand this concept with the help of diagram. So we will draw a diagram here and try to understand this concept more clearly. So this is a x-axis and y-axis. This is a point of origin. Here quantity, or you can say demand. Here price. So this is a demand curve and this is a supply curve in an economy, and this is a point of equilibrium where demand and supply is in equilibrium. So what happened in the demand side factor? Our demands of the goods and services goes on increasing and supply is constant. So due to increase in the demand curve will shift upward. So we will try to shifting demand curve in upward direction, and this is D1. So corresponding this demand demand curve on the supply curve, it is new equilibrium, that is E1. And corresponding this equilibrium point, this is price P and this is price P1. So you can see when we are going to increase demand from D to D1, you can say Q to Q1. So this demand curve will shift upward, and corresponding this demand curve, or you can say new equilibrium E1, there will be new price, that is increased price. So we can understand when we are going to increase the demand and supply is constant, you can say there is no change in the supply curve, only change in the demand curve. So in this way we can easily understand how the demand will increase the price, how demand will lead the inflation. So what are the factors by which demand-pull inflation may occur? There are some important factors. Now we are going to discuss that factor. Number 1, increase in the foreign exchange rate. Okay, so due to increase in the foreign exchange rate, our demand of goods and services will increase, but our supply is limited. So ultimately, price of that goods will increase. What happened? For example, $1 is equal to 70 rupees, and due to increase in the foreign exchange rate, now $1 is currently 83 point something. So due to at that time $1 is 70 rupees. What happened? I am taking the example of pen. The cost of one pen is 10 rupees. So here we can get 7 pen because $1 is equal to 70 rupees. When due to increase in the foreign exchange rate, now here we can check, we will get approximately 8 pen. 8 pen here. So we can check if when we are spending $1, we are getting 7 pen. When we are spending $1, we are getting 8 pen. So what happened? Other countries demand more pen from our country, or demand of pen will increase. That will lead inflation in our country. Demand of pen will increase in our country, and the price of the pen will increase in our country, and that will lead inflation. So this is the main factors, one of main important factors by which we can say demand-pull inflation may occur. You can also discuss second factor, that is due to increase in the money supply in the market, or you can say in an economy. So when it is very interesting, second factor, that is increase in the money supply. What do we mean by increase in the money supply? Students, what happened when money supply is more in an economy means in the public hand there is more money. Public wants to spend more money on the goods and services. Their consumption pattern will increase, their expenditure will increase. So due to increase in the money supply in economy, people wants to more spend on the goods and services. They demand more. If they demand more, then and supply is limited, then what happened? Supply is limited, you can say constant, then prices of that goods and services will increase, and that will result as inflation. So this is also a very main factor to increase inflation, or to may occur inflation in an economy. Similarly, we will discuss third factor, that is increase in the population. So as we know, India is most populated country. When we are continuously increase in population in any country, they demand more, because population is more, demand is more of the things, and ultimately they will lead high prices. of the goods and services, it will also create inflation. It will next one, that is aggregate expenditure, or you can say public expenditure. When we are going to increase more public expenditure, means government wants more investment. Why government wants more investment? Because government wants more income. So when we are government will try to invest more, then people have increased their income. So ultimately they will expend more, they will consume more, and they will demand more. As they demand more, the prices of the goods and services will increase, and ultimately it will also result as inflation. The next point may be decrease in the taxes. How decrease in the taxes may lead to occur inflation? It is due to, like, when we are high taxes, then we have to spend less on the goods or services. For example, if the income of a person is 10,000 and they have to pay tax 2,000 to the government, they have to only 8,000 personal disposable income to invest. But when we are talking about decrease in the taxes, what happened? Now, if the income of the person is 10,000 and they have to pay only 1,000, why 1,000? Because government have reduced the taxes. Now the people have, that person have 9,000 to spend. Means right now he or she have 9,000 disposable personal income, so that person will spend more, consume more, demand more, and ultimately it will increase the prices of the goods and services, and ultimately it will lead the inflation. So these are the factors from the demand side. These are factors which are responsible to occur demand side inflation. Now we are talking about supply side inflation. So supply side inflation is what? That inflation is occur due to decrease in the supply. So supply will decrease here and demand will constant here. So now we will check how supply side inflation will result the inflation. Okay. So supply side inflation. So supply side inflation here, this inflation may occur when demand is constant and supply will fall down. Means supply will decrease. So ultimately we will find here demand is greater than supply here also. So if we analyze both the cases, we will find the result that demand in both the cases, demand is greater than supply. So how it will explain how these factors can able to explain supply side inflation? So now we will check factor number 1. When decrease in the foreign exchange rate, just opposite, decrease in the foreign exchange rate. So you can see when we are talking about the demand side inflation, we are talking increase in the foreign exchange rate. Here we are discussing, then foreign exchange rate will decrease, then demand of the goods and services will increase, supply we will already discuss, that is in the form of falling down. So ultimately they will increase the price of that goods and services that will be demanded by other countries. So this is first factor. Second factor is poor implementation of government policy. Poor implementation of government policy will also lead to create a inflation in the economy. So this is all about your inflation from various factors which are responsible for demand side inflation and supply side inflation. So now the next topic is Phillips curve. So what is Phillips curve? Why do we need to read out or study out Phillips curve? So as people are expecting so many things from the government. People are expecting two main things from the government. That is number one, to decrease the inflation and to increase the employment level. Or you can say to decrease the unemployment and to decrease the inflation. So simultaneously it is not possible that both of the factors cannot be handled together or simultaneously. So this relation, whatever the mechanism behind the Phillips curve and whatever the theory behind the Phillips curve, it is defined by A.W. Phillips. A.W. Phillips. Phillips have explained in the year 1958, he had published his detailed study on behavior of wages in UK in the period of 1861 to 1957. So, what did Phillips? Phillips have studied behavior of wages in the UK from the period of 1861 to 1957, and he had published his detailed study in the year 1958, and he explained whatever he had studied with a curve that is called Phillips curve. And Phillips curve represents a relationship between unemployment and inflation. So ultimately, Phillips curve find out the relationship between unemployment and inflation, and he had find out that there is inverse relationship between unemployment and inflation. So how we can know the understanding of this curve? We will do. Now I am going to write this finding with the help of equation. So we can say a rate of unemployment is inversely proportional to a rate of wage inflation. You can say price inflation, and you can say money with inflation. These are the same thing. So there are inverse relationship between this. What do we mean by this? Inverse relationship means when unemployed will increase, rate of inflation will decrease. When unemployed will decrease, rate of inflation will increase. So decrease in unemployment means more employment in the economy. More employment in the economy. So more employment in the economy means there will more inflation in the economy. So here we will find out a very interesting relation. Whenever there is more employment in an economy, there will be more inflation in an economy. So how interesting it is. It is found out by Phillips, and Phillips have two curves. First one is Phillips short run curve, and second one is Phillips long term curve. So firstly we will study Phillips short run curve. So with the help of diagram we will try to understand. This is vertical y-axis, and this is x-axis, and this is also vertical y-axis of, this is left hand side and this is right hand side of y-axis. Here this is change in price in percentage, then here delta wages percentage, because we have the relationship, we have inverse relationship with the price wages and money wages or wages inflation. So this is point of origin, and this is here unemployment rate. So you can see I'm going to try a Phillips curve, and I'm going to, it is 1, it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, then it is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we will start 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we are going to explain the inverse relationship between unemployment and price wages. Firstly, when we are consider unemployment is 3, then it is 7. So then unemployment will increase. Unemployment will increase. I think I'll take 7. Sorry, 6. Then it will 3. And you can say this is downward Phillips curve. Similarly, when we are taking unemployment 3, then we are going to check the wages inflation. When we are taking unemployment 3, then it is 8, and when we are taking unemployment 6, then it is 4. So you can see with the help of one diagram we are able to draw a relationship, diagrammatically relationship between the price wages inflation and wages inflation here. So we can say this diagram helps to us to understand the nature of Phillips curve and why it is the downward slope, because it has inverse relationship between unemployment and wages rate inflation. So this is a short-run inflation curve. Now I am talking about long-run inflation, long-run inflation or long-run Phillips curve. So long-run Phillips curve is something which is very important, and that diagram or that concept gives us a new topic, a new concept that is known as natural rate of unemployment. Natural rate of unemployment. So how long run Phillips curve able to find out natural rate of unemployment? Now I'm going to tell you. So according to Phillips, it is stated that in long run there is a minimum level of unemployment with steady inflation. Means in an economy there is a natural unemployment. There is a existence of some employment but having steady or you can say constant inflation. So we can say according to Phillips long run, this is x-axis and y-axis. This is you can say time, and this is rate of unemployment. It is vertical, and this is a point here. It is denoted by U star. This is the point where due to some inflation or you can say steady inflation, there is a existence of natural unemployment, and it is also known as NIRU. NIRU stands for non-acceleratory inflation rate of unemployment. So we will try to understand this. This is Phillips curve, short run Phillips curve 1. This is a point A, and correspond, this point is for the phase 1 and you can say period 1. At this phase 1, this is the rate of unemployment in the economy due to constant, or you can say steady, inflation. Now we are going to assume that we are going to move second phase, you can say period second, then we are going to anticipate that the prices of the goods and services will increase, or you can say economy will expand. So we are going to point B here. This is a new point on the Phillips curve. It is for period second, or you can say phase 2 also. Here we will see the prices of the goods and services in an economy will increase. So corresponding this point, we will check our unemployment will decrease, means here the employment in an economy will more. So you can see when economy will increase the prices and economy will expand, then our unemployment will decrease and it will become U star to U1. Similarly, it is anticipated that our economy will expand further and the prices of the goods and services will expand or increase further. But our anticipation will not work here. What happens? How it will not work here? We will understand with second short run Phillips curve, and it is denoted by SRPC, and this is vertical curve, that is long run Phillips curve. So we know that long run Phillips curve is vertical to the y-axis, and this is the short run curve, and this is the short run Phillips curve 1. It is assumed that when this is the point where at steady inflation rate, there will be a natural unemployment in an economy. When we are expecting or we are anticipating that economy will expand, the prices of the goods will goes on increase, and at that point our unemployment will decrease, and further it is anticipated that further economy will increase, and due to that assumption our short-run Phillips curve will move upward. So, and this is at this point we will take C. We will give this point C. Now what will we find at point C? Here, this is the highest inflation rate for period 2. But this is the inflation rate, normal inflation rate for phase 3. So what happened? It is what will be our assumption? That all assumptions were failed here. How? Because we were expecting that due to increase in the price level, our economy will increase and inflation will increase. But here inflation will not increase. Inflation will constant here. You can check whatever the inflation here, that inflation is carry on for the point C also. So this is what we can see that, and at that point C, you can see what is the rate of unemployment, that is natural rate of unemployment. So ultimately we will reach the concept natural rate of unemployment. So how natural rate of unemployment will exist in an economy? It is due to the presence of steady and constant inflation in the economy. There is natural rate of unemployment. Naturally some economy or you can say economy have unemployment rate. So this is all about our today's lecture, inflation factors and Phillips curve. So we will meet in the next lecture with next topic. Okay, good day.